A man charged with animal cruelty, accused of abandoning dozens of horses in Mercer County, took a plea deal today. We'll have details on that deal coming up.
A dog was killed in an overnight Lexington crash. The driver's now fighting for his life. And authorities in South Carolina trying to figure out what led to a school shooting in a rural town that left 3 people injured.
This is WKYT News at 4:30.
Good afternoon. Sam Dick and Amber Philpott reporting. A man accused of abandoning dozens of horses at a Mercer County farm pled guilty to several charges.
Charles Burrell was facing 43 counts of animal cruelty. Today in court, he took an Alford plea for 9 of the charges. All others were dropped. WKYT's Hillary Thornton was in court this morning and has the details. It's our top story at 4:30.
Charles Burrell entering an Alford plea here inside of the Mercer County Courthouse. He is accused of neglecting dozens of horses, today pleading guilty to not even half of those charges.
He thinks that he's being railroaded. He thinks that it's unjust.
Charles Burrell going before a judge, not admitting responsibility, but acknowledging there is enough evidence against him to be found guilty. Burrell arrested back in June on 43 counts of animal cruelty. 34 of those now dismissed, pleading guilty to 9 counts. Investigators say he abandoned the horses without any food or water on a Mercer County farm. While Mr. Burrell did not want to comment, his attorney did answer some questions and says his client had reservations about taking the deal because he feels he is not the responsible party, but does not have the financial means to fight the charges against him.
Complicated scenario involving a lot of folks, and I don't want to name names of people that he had relied upon and paid to take care of the horses, who then double-crossed him and left him. And when he gets there, the hay that was supposedly purchased and paid for by him and somebody was supposed to be feeding, the hay was not there and the person was not there. He relied on others. This was kind of his daughter's thing, you know.
His daughter, horse trainer Maria Burrell, also charged back in June with 43 counts of second-degree animal cruelty. She is still on the run, but because that is a misdemeanor, she cannot be brought back here to Kentucky to face those charges. In Mercer County, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
As part of Burrell's plea deal, he will serve 2 years on probation. During that time, he cannot own any animals in Kentucky. He will also give up his rights to the 43 horses that were seized, and his bond payment of $4,300 will go towards the care of those horses. Well, it's pretty gloomy out today, and with the clouds sticking around, it doesn't really look like at this point in the day we're going to warm up much more today.
I don't think so. The sun was trying hard, but wasn't making much of an appearance, Amber. Temperatures, though, below normal right now. Let's check in with our meteorologist, Jim Caldwell. Jim, fall's here, isn't it?
Fall is here, but it came a little too quick. Now, sometimes you'll run into fall that gets here that's about average, which would put us in the mid-70s. This is fall-like weather for October. Keep that in mind, mid to late October. It's 61 degrees in Lexington right now, with more 50s showing up out to our east. That is some chilly stuff because that low hanging cloud cover and, of course, the showers that just continue to circulate through the area. And the low pressure center that is in position right over Kentucky keeps the clouds around. It keeps the rain going, and even some thunderstorms have been developing to our east, out across parts of, looks like into Martin County, Pike County, and then out to our west. But here in central Kentucky, it's just been general rain for most of the day. Here's a look at our high resolution hour-by-hour radar. This goes all the way into the evening and overnight, and you can see that rain starts moving a little bit more toward the west across parts of eastern Kentucky there, because the low is starting to jog a little more westerly, and as that happens, it'll increase the coverage of some of that rain through central or into eastern and northern Kentucky, while around the low here in the central portion of the state, we stay a little bit quieter compared to others. Now watch, most of that energy gets transferred out to our west by early on Friday morning, but guess what? We go beyond that. That's the end of that, because it only goes out 12 hours and updates every hour to give us the latest information. You go out beyond that, rain will start filling in again for us in Lexington and more points of central Kentucky. That's just the nature of the beast when you have a low that just won't go. I will track the low, and when it finally does go, coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, we'll see you in just a bit. When teachers plan for their school year, a lot of thought goes into how each lesson will be conveyed to those young minds. And one Clark County 6th grade teacher's students are learning lessons this year that go far beyond the classroom. It's a lesson in compassion. In Christy Blackwell's language arts classroom at Baker Intermediate, stories and learning come to life. Most students describe her as their favorite teacher who can make any activity fun. Blackwell loves teaching, and her fellow teachers love her.
I love teaching. When I was a little girl, I used to play school all the time.
She makes you feel like when you're talking to her that you're the only one in the world. She just makes you feel very special and that she really cares.
Coming up tonight at 6, I'll have more on the tough battle this beloved teacher has ahead and how her journey is teaching her students and fellow staff a lesson to take far beyond their classroom.
A man is seriously injured and a dog is dead after a crash this morning on New Circle Road. It happened just before 3 near Georgetown Street. A car ran off the road, took out a sign, then slammed into a large metal utility pole. Firefighters had to use the jaws of life to get that driver out. He was rushed to UK hospital with significant injuries. One of 2 dogs that were in the car with him was killed in the crash. A Lexington police officer recovering after being hurt during an overnight chase. Officers responded to a disorderly conduct call about 2 this morning on Elm Tree Lane. Some people were arguing in the front yard of the home, and police say when they arrived, 2 of the suspects took off running. One was arrested, and one, who a witness said had a gun, escaped. During the chase, one of the officers fell and injured his arm. That officer was transported to UK hospital. The suspect in custody is being charged with disorderly conduct, fleeing the scene, and public intoxication. New details coming out about a school shooting that injured 2 6-year-old students and a teacher.
Police say the alleged shooter killed his father at home before attacking the school. Manuel Bohorquez is outside Townville Elementary School in South Carolina, about 100 miles northeast of Atlanta.
Dozens of law enforcement officers began swarming Townville Elementary School 7 minutes after receiving a call that there was a gunman on campus.
The shooter's going to be a white male, all black coat and posing in blonde hair.
2 6-year-old students were shot, one in the leg, the other in the foot. Jacob Hall was airlifted to the hospital. A female teacher was also struck in the shoulder.
There's no racial undertones there. There's no terrorism involved.
Police say the shooter, who was armed with a handgun, never entered the school. Volunteer firefighter Jamie Brock apprehended him and held him outside on the playground until police arrived.
And as y'all have heard, one of our firefighters did that and probably saved a lot more lives.
Police say the gunman began his rampage by shooting his father, 47-year-old Jeffrey Osborne, at the family's home. At about 1:44 p.m., the shooter called his grandmother and was emotional. When the grandparents visited the home, they discovered their son's body and their grandson gone. He had already driven to Townville Elementary, about 3 miles away. Frantic parents were alerted by text to come to the school as students were evacuated.
And I saw her come out, and I just ran to her, crying. He just gave her a big hug. You know, just thankful.
6-year-old Jacob Hall remains in the hospital in critical condition. The other student and teacher who were injured in the shooting were released from the hospital last night. Investigators said there is no known relationship between those victims and the suspected shooter. Manuel Bohorquez, CBS News, Townville, South Carolina.
Classes are canceled for the remainder of the week at Townville Elementary School, and counselors are available to students.
Firefighters visited some Lexington school children today to teach them about fire safety. Children at Lexington Montessori School had a close-up look at the crew's gear and, of course, the fire trucks leading up to Fire Prevention Week and the Fire Prevention Festival. The head of the school says the day is all about teaching children to be safe at home with fire.
What we hope to get out of today is more hands-on learning for these children, because that's what Montessori is.
Tucker says the day is also about helping children learn that firefighters are friends, not people to fear.
It worked for the Jungle Book, and now Disney will reboot another popular movie, The Lion King. That's ahead on WKYT News at 4:30.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Jim Caldwell.
Gloomy has been the theme of the week ever since we got into this brand new air mass. And this new air mass is now tracking a lot of cloud cover in here and showers, all because of the low. Let's get right to the outside. I'm looking for some sunshine. It's just hard to find. You might get a little mix in, I think, down around Corbin. You can see some off the hillside there and off in the distance. But that's generally about it. Everywhere else, cloud cover socked in with the area of low pressure that continues to just sit and spin. And you go west of Lexington, you run into showers and thunderstorms. You go east of Lexington, out across parts of eastern Kentucky, you run into some thunderstorms again, some hail-producing ones. I was seeing some reports out of parts of West Virginia and eastern Kentucky of some small hail within some of those thunderstorms that have developed. Very common to run into that type of setup this time of year, because even though the showers and thunderstorms aren't severe, we have a lower ceiling in the atmosphere, and basically meaning that the cooler air kind of pools lower. It's easier to get ice to form, so that's what you run into. And it's probably soft in nature as well. Area of low pressure just sits and spins, and it has been for a few days, but it's going to be tracking toward the west and off toward the north, and as it does, it'll pull some of the rain chances a little more organized into parts of eastern Kentucky. So we'll keep the damp mess around the area here for the next few days as it sits and spins, and then will eventually start to work its way north. So dreary and wet with these chilly temperatures staying put. I mean, they don't move. We'll stay very cool all the way up until about Sunday. Even Sunday, well below average. We'll probably end up in the upper 60s, low 70s in most locations out there. Should be in the mid 70s. Here we go, hour by hour through the evening. You can watch those showers coming from east to west, wrapping back around that area of low pressure, still showing up into central Kentucky and eastern Kentucky at that point. Again, because that low is starting to pull away, it's bringing some of that energy and some of the coverage back to our area. 7 o'clock Friday morning, some of us take a break, but others are still seeing some of the rain. Upper 40s, low 50s area-wide, so another cool start. And then we get into your Friday, dealing with another chance of some scattered showers, maybe even a thunder shower or two, with temperatures stuck in the mid-60s. In central Kentucky, even some low 60s. They're picking up maybe on more rain and clouds through the day. And where a little more sunshine tries to show up, I don't think a lot, but at least a little bit, into eastern Kentucky, tries to make a surge into the upper 60s at that point. And we go into Saturday, same old song and dance. Some of those afternoon showers and maybe even a stray thunder shower or two will be showing up around here again. Just a very wet pattern staying around. Here's a 7-day forecast which reveals the wet stuff here Friday, Saturday, and a very small chance, I think, into your Sunday. And the next week, it's right back toward a normal run around here with those 70s creeping back into the area, 73, 75. That is where we should be. However, if we didn't have the cloud cover around these showers, I wouldn't mind a bit to be stuck in the 60s. It's kind of what I prefer, but we don't always get what we prefer, do we?
Some people have a lot of raking to do. I noticed today, suddenly there are just leaves all over the ground. So I don't know if you're in that category.
I've got a few.
I'm sure Amber has some help. She doesn't have to do that.
Call the husband.
There you go. Have him work.
A few out there. And I'll tell you what, the gustier showers we had early in the week and the heavy rain from yesterday started bringing some of them down, guys.
He's going to be busy.
Yeah, yeah, he is. Thanks, Jim.
Yeah.
We are preparing to battle in the saddle. I'm Deanne Stevens out at the Kentucky Horse Park today.
The Battle in the Saddle Celebrity Team Penning event returns to the Kentucky Horse Park this weekend.
And our Deanne Stevens is out and about at the Kentucky Horse Park at a little practice session. Good luck, Deanne.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. We are here at the Kentucky Horse Park, the covered arena, where tomorrow night we're going to be battling it out in the saddle. Becky Jordan is with us from the Kentucky Horse Park Foundation. She's chair of this event, and it's always such a fun event, one, to participate in, and two, to watch Becky battle in the saddle. Tell folks what it is.
Correct. It is a celebrity amateur cattle penning competition for charity. We're raising money for care of the horses and all the arenas and things here at the Kentucky Horse Park, our gem of the bluegrass, we like to call it. And we do this once a year as a fundraiser, one night. We'd love for families to come out. It's lots of fun. The idea is for a team of 3 to cut out from the herd, and the cattle don't want to leave their buddies, 3 of the same number cows and put them in a pen.
So we have a little practice session going on behind us. My horse here is a little camera shy, clearly, but the practice session is going on, and as Becky said, 3 members out there trying to get, like, I think maybe number 2 they called out.
Yes, they call out the number.
And then they're trying to get those number 2 cattle across the line and into that pen over on that end. Listen, I want to say it's darn near impossible to do.
It's tough. Now, remember, Deanne, that the professionals do it in 90 seconds. So we give our riders 4 minutes and a lot of trash cows extra numbers in the arena.
Right.
They have to get them out before they call time. But you have to get as many cows as you can of your number in the pen.
So I got to remind you that none of us are professionals who are doing this. Sean Moody from KYT is doing this, as well as many other local celebrities, local talent, people around here, and we are super excited about it. A lot of jockeys that you see and bet on at Keeneland.
Chris McCarron, we have Rosie Napravnik coming as some of our celebs, so they're good riders. But now this is a different Western sport for them, so it's an opportunity for them to get their cowboy hat on, if you will, and get in here and have a good time.
So we want you to have a good time too. Come on out to the covered arena at the Kentucky Horse Park tomorrow night. Gates open around 7 o'clock. VIP area is already sold out. Those tickets are already gone. But if you want to just walk up, you can get your ticket for $10 here
Children
tomorrow
under
night.
12, free.
Children under 12, bring them all and make sure they're cheering our team on, okay? We're going to need all the help we can get. I'm Deanne Stevens, out and about. We're going to go take on these cattle. You ready, Becky?
Yes.
Lordy,
let's go.
here we go. Back to you guys.
Kind of moving a little slow there.
Yeah, riding off into the sunset. Okay.
The cast of Westworld walks the red carpet, and some Bruce Springsteen fans get a chance of a lifetime.
Suzanne Marquez has your eye on entertainment.
Dozens of Bruce Springsteen fans waited in line to get a picture with the boss at a Barnes & Noble in New York Wednesday. The crowd snatched up signed copies of his new autobiography, Born to Run. The meet and greet was especially touching for one lifelong fan.
I used to sleep on the streets of the Capitol Theater in Passaic to see him.
Springsteen's book tour stops in Philadelphia today. The stars of Westworld hit the red carpet here in Los Angeles for the premiere of the new HBO series.
I think there may be something wrong with this world.
Evan Rachel Wood stars as Dolores Abernathy in the highly anticipated sci-fi Western series. It explores a world where fantasies are reality.
There's really endless possibilities where the show can go, and it does have a little bit of everything, so I don't think you could ever really be bored.
The first episode of Westworld airs this Sunday on HBO. And Masterminds is a new comedy based on a true story. It follows a pack of harebrained bandits and their scheme to commit one of the largest cash heists in American history.
It's kind of unbelievable that it's true, but you know what they say about truth. It's stranger than fiction.
Masterminds arrives in theaters tomorrow. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Suzanne Marquez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Walt Disney Studios has officially announced they plan to remake The Lion King.
Disney says the studio will remake the iconic film in live action, similar to The Jungle Book that debuted in April. They're even teaming up with the film's director. While the film will be reimagined, Disney says the new Lion King will still feature the same characters and include music from the original. The Lion King is one of the biggest animated films of all time, at one point breaking box office records and even winning Academy and Grammy Awards. Why some Home Depot stores are pulling this Halloween decoration off the shelves. That's ahead after the break. All right, it is gray out there. We've been talking about it.
Yep.
It's just not great outside. But what are we going to do? We're kind of stuck in this pattern for a while, it sounds
I know.
like.
But this is better, Jim, than the winter and 0-degree temperatures. And would you all agree with that?
I think we agree completely. And I don't mind this. It's not bad at all. It's a little ugly outside, but other than that, it's not terrible. Temperatures in the 60s, can't beat it. And it's like that everywhere you go. We can't seem to find a good sunny spot anywhere in Kentucky because that low and the influence that it has on the weather keeps clouds around from Louisville to Moorhead, Jackson, Corbin, all locations there in between. I mean, just an action-packed day for clouds and even those showers. You can see the spin of the area of low pressure, and it's not really going very far. It hangs out here the rest of the day. It's here tomorrow, and it's here into your Saturday, and I think a little bit of the energy could likely hang out even into Sunday. So the low sits and spins and keeps the shower chances around, just not widespread nonstop activity. Nothing like we had out there yesterday where it got pretty heavy for a brief period. That's what I've got here in weather. Let's see what's going on out there on the roads with Officer Don.
Well, it looks like the crash has just been cleared on Clays Mill and Reed Lane, so we're okay getting past that one. Still have a collision on Leestown Road near Citation, and now one outbound Versailles or just past the circle. No one's hurt in that wreck, but it's causing a little bit of an issue for outbound Versailles. To Nicholasville, 16 minutes. To Paris, 21, and Richmond, 25. Now back to the studio.
Officer Don, thank you. An aggressive deer, a dog in a tight spot, and a creepy Halloween decoration. It's the video that will have you talking. Take a look at this.
A deer attacked the driver of a car that struck it, and the whole thing was caught on video. Take a look at the upper right-hand corner of your screen. A car strikes a deer. Oh, gosh. The driver pulls over, and when she opens her door to get out, the deer seems to run back over to the car and tries to get in. An officer in Howell Township, New Jersey, was driving behind the woman and caught the whole thing on his dash cam.
It's one of those things that no one would believe unless you had the video to prove
strange.
it. Yeah. In Des Moines, Iowa, a dog caused quite the traffic jam. Police say the dog was on the highway for half an hour before being chased off. Eventually, officers were able to chase the dog into a nearby neighborhood.
I hope he's okay. Home Depot stores in Canada, listen to this. They're pulling the Halloween decoration scene right here. The Scary Peeper Creeper is made to mount on windows and features a hooded man peering through a window. Canadian stores pulled the almost $30 item after someone complained that it made light of voyeurism, which is a crime. And it's still available in Home Depots, in U.S. stores, and also online. That is a little odd.
Yeah, it's very creepy. I don't want to see that looking in the window for
Me either,
sure.
no.
All right, stick with us. Here's what we're working on for you now at 5 o'clock.